have Miss Kolisayola Snyanya, who are women in science, who are ladies who are doing science, and they will be giving us a talk tonight. Nokolo, can you please jump in on this one? Nokolo, are you there? Okay, moving right along, I think.
I am here.
Oh,
can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So what I want everyone to do is take their cursor to the top of their laptop screens. There should be a pop-up that appears there. Can we all see the pop-up?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so once you see the pop-up, you should see something that says annotate. Please click on annotate.
No, I don't see the pop-up. Where is it supposed to be?
Okay, you take your cursor right to the top of your screen, but then if you are not seeing it, you should see something that says view options. You see it now, right?
Yes.
Then please click on stamp. Okay. And then click on the star, please. Then take your cursor to where you think you are and just place it approximately close where you think you are. I see Colisa, Cherise, Dr. Carl, Site. Yes, we see you guys. So we are all over South Africa today. And Nwabisa is somewhere.
I just have, how do I start?
To stop it, you just press on the red X.
On the red. Okay, great.
And then I am trying to clear everything out. Thank you, Ndogozo. I am done from my part.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay, I'm just trying to go to the next slide. My laptop is okay. All right. Okay, so today we have Miss Nwabisa Pindile Mkize, and she's an MSc. She's an MSc in Environmental Sciences graduate at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Her journey with Access began in December 2015, where she attended her first work HPW 19 in Kimberley. Since then, she has attended more than 5 workshops, having been a member of the local organizing committee for most of them. She is currently consulting as an environmental assessment practitioner for NCON Consulting in Centurion, and she is planning on pursuing her PhD studies in environmental sciences, majoring in GIS and remote sensing this year. And then our next speaker is Ms. Kolisayola Snyanya, who holds a master's in botany from UCT and is currently a PhD candidate in oceanography. Her PhD research involves performing intricate biogeochemical analysis of nitrogen isotopes to assess the productivity and change over time of microbial communities, and micronutrient interactions within the Indian and Southern Oceans. She also runs the Women in Science Hub, a blog that shares stories from interviews with women who are performing groundbreaking research in science. She recently was part of a CNN Inside Africa documentary that covered the amazing work she and other South African female scientists are doing in their fields, which have historically been male dominant. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will first start with our first speaker, which is Ms. Nwabisa Mkize. And Ms. Mkize, the platform is yours to take.
Thank you. Can I just get permission to share my screen?
Okay. All right, can you please try and see if you're able to share?
Yes, I am. Can you guys see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nwabisa Mkize. As stated, I am going to be giving you guys a presentation on, I think, just being a woman in science. It's going to consist a bit of my research as well as, the topic at hand. So the outline of my presentation will firstly be like, who am I? And then I'll go into my master's research, the importance of the study that I conducted, and the summary of how I did it, as well as the results. And then I will talk about what it means to be a Black woman in science to me, and then the challenges that I've faced being in the science field as a Black woman or a woman in general. So, as mentioned, I am a very active planeteer. I joined Access in 2015, and I've just been around and doing the most. I am currently the 2021 DNA holder. And yeah, it's been awesome. I really, really love this organization in so many ways. In terms of working, as mentioned, I'm currently an environmental assessment practitioner in EP for environmental consulting company named Ankone Consulting and Johannesburg Centurion. I'm also a student, well, a PhD candidate. Like, I haven't really registered, but I'm working on my proposal and all of that. So yes, I'm a PhD candidate at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. I'm planning on pursuing my PhD in GIS and remote sensing, but incorporating water management because I really, really, really love it. And obviously, okay, my passions. Okay, I'm very, very passionate about women empowerment. Anything related to women, like I'm there, like 100%. I am 100% a feminist, proudly so. And I am actually very interested in like health and like body positivity. I'm a big girl, but I believe that you should take care of yourself, exercise, like what is this, yoga, gym, that type of stuff. But just but body positivity, I'm there. Also, like, I'm actually very interested in the South African National Blood Services. Like, I'm a blood donor. Like, I donate blood religiously. I don't know how I got into that, but I just am, and I love it so much. Okay, so moving on to my research, my MSc research. So my topic was the utility of texture combinations in detecting and mapping bugweed, an alien invasive plant within the Sapi Hodgson estate in KwaZulu-Natal. So my research aimed to use two band texture combinations and I computed from a 2-meter world view image to detect and map the alien invasive within the commercial forest plantation. So the objectives of my research were to review literature focusing on detecting, controlling, and monitoring bugweed or alien invasives in commercial forestry, to determine which remote sensing technique between PLSDA and PSLDA were better at discriminating the bugweed from the commercial tree species, and then to test whether two band texture combinations improved the detection of the bugweed when compared to single texture bands. And like obviously, like the main thing was to eventually create a map that showed the presence and the distribution of this alien invasive, the bugweed, within the forest plantation. So the reason why I chose to conduct research concerning forestry is because of the fact that I feel like forests are important because they help maintain the oxygen level in the atmosphere. Like, I'm actually one of those people who end up always getting plants and photosynthesis talk when co-lecturing. And you know that we need plants. They play a part in the earth system science, and also they produce oxygen that we breathe every day, so they are very important in that sense. They help regulate the climate. They help it keep it cool, otherwise it might be too hot and the planet might not be habitable. And they also absorb what they help the ground absorb, like during floods. They reduce soil loss. I know that also in terms of what you call this, like they also assist like in cleaning water. Well, certain plants, like in wetlands, they also assist in cleaning water and things like that. And like forests are just vital for the economy because like the forestry industry actually contributes quite a lot to the GDP of the country. So it is essential that they are taken care of, and that whatever alien invasive plants grow within those forests are removed. Hence, they should be mapped so that whoever's removing them must know where they are. So how I conducted my research was obviously I used satellite images, you can see there. So I processed the image and then I went to the field to go do like I don't know how to say this, but like a check, like, because when I'm mapping it, I'm going to be doing it remotely. So I needed like certain points that I use as a reference to see which did I map them correctly. So if these points show up, it means that I have successfully mapped them. So I went to the field to do that. Then I extracted the texture combinations, the texture parameters from the satellite image. So what the texture parameters are, or like texture combination in general, is like pixels in an image, right? Like you look at the pixels or you somewhat separate, you try to sort of like separate them from the image, and they help you to see clear what is it that you're trying to map. So they help you to detect it easier. So then obviously I use the training data, and then I use the single texture bands, and I compared the two discriminant analysis techniques that I was using. And then based on that, they gave me the different accuracies. And then PLS-LDA obviously performed better than, PLS-DA performed better than PLS-LDA. So then I used PLS-DA to create the final product, which is the map of the alien invasive presence and distribution within the commercial forests. And this is the result of my map. And as you can see, wherever you see the red, that means it's the presence of the actual alien invasive in the forest. So in terms of alien invasive management and control, they would know where to now go and clear out these alien invasives within the commercial forest. So what does it mean to be a Black woman in science to me? Okay, I'm also part of like other Black women in science organizations, like the Black Women in Science itself, like and like African Women in GIS. And so what it means to me really is just to be part of a community of people in a field where it is quite male dominated. And yeah, like, so just thriving in that field and contributing to research as best as you can. And I think being part of such organizations as well, people to be around people who understand the challenges of just being a woman in general, and so on and so forth, and being part of this field that is so demanding and so challenging. And yeah, so moving to the challenges that I faced being in the science field as a Black woman, or just a woman in general, is just the imposter syndrome. Like sometimes, like you look at the people, for example, you look at your lecturers, you look around in the department, you don't see any Black females in positions where like they are not lecturing you. They don't see, Black females as deans. In the academic field, it was as I was doing my undergrad and going forward, I wouldn't see like females there. So then I would ask myself, wanting to be in this field, like how do I fit? Because I don't see anyone that, like a role model, someone that I can look up to, because of the fact that there were such limited females in the field. And obviously that affected, my confidence, being in spaces where, you have to present your research, you have to defend your research. And like I said, now you don't feel like you belong, so your confidence is a bit tempered with. And on top of that, in terms of your mental health, like research is, I don't know what to say, but that thing will do things to you. Like was I found a service that is, the university actually, what you call this, gives to students, where you can get like counseling, because sometimes it gets much, and I really, really utilize that, because I could feel at times when I feel like I'm losing my mind when I'm trying to make a breakthrough in my research, and like I'm just not getting anywhere. Like sometimes I wake up every day, I'm typing, but I feel like it's not moving forward, and actually, I actually had an issue with my thesis. I couldn't submit it on time because of, it was the pace. I don't know, but myself and my supervisor were just not agreeing on things, and I just was behind, and I was seeing my peers graduating and so on and so forth. So it really, really messed with me. But yeah, like your mental health is something that you must try and deal with whilst you are doing your research. And another thing is funding. To be honest, you come from a background where there weren't finances for me to study, and applying for bursaries, sometimes they were not available. I actually only received, I think, a bursary at I received a bursary at honors level, like second semester. So the finances were really, really hard, trying to, coming from an underprivileged background, and everyone is looking to you. They're thinking, okay, now you're done, you must go and work. And you're like, I still want to study, I want to pursue my research. So that kind of stuff was also just like really weighing on me. And just like school, work, life balance. Like right now, I'm trying to pursue this PhD. I'm currently working. I'm trying to live my life in the midst of all of that. So yeah, those are also the challenges that we face. But yeah, yeah, I think and I mean, it's possible though, like really, like at the end of the day, it's so worth it. To me, I personally feel so. Yeah, and yeah, guys, actually, that's where my talk ends, and I hope you enjoyed it. And any questions from you guys concerning anything that I said, anything that you would like clarification on? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Nwabisa. This was a very informative and quite impressive presentation. Thank you so much for briefly giving us an idea on what your research is about and how you see being a Black female in science, how it is for you, and what your experiences have been. Of course, being a female is not an easy thing to do, and having to see a Black woman like yourself in science, it's quite inspiring. So now we'll be giving people an opportunity to come with their questions or maybe their comments, suggestions. The floor is yours.
I see Lutendo's hand. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. Yeah, you can ask a question, Lutendo.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Noisa.
Hey!
What wonderful presentation. I was excited to hear that you're an EP. I'm also one. That was interesting as well. And Ankone, I know TMB, I worked with her back then. I was actually happy for that to come out from you. What a wonderful presentation. And I was intimidated because this is Women in Science and I'm not a woman, obviously. So I was intimidated to ask, Bagwid, ne? I
Yes.
was working on an alien eradication control, and we actually had to remove bugweed. Well, the advantage with bugweed, that is an easy physically to remove, just cutting it off. But also, I would like to pick your brain on three things: bugweed being an alien invasive plant, contributing to photosynthesis, and us having it to actually remove it. Obviously, according also to the NAMBA Biodiversity Act, we actually have to remove it. Don't you think in this actually era where we are living in and crying about climate change, carbon sink, and deforestation, and us actually as environmentalists actually encouraging that bugweed must be removed, do you think it actually strikes an imbalance on the photosynthesis and as well as the oxygen produced and also as a carbon sink? I would like to pick your brain around those three issues.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, the focus on my research was the what commercial forest. So the thing is, where it was within a commercial forest, and the main aim of a commercial forest is that it's growing these trees because it wants to sell them again, so that it contributes to the economy and so forth. So the presence of bugweed in that space was a negative, because now it was affecting the growth of the trees, like it was yeah, and like so it was a problem. We had to remove it in that instance. But if it's growing somewhere else, but also like you said, it is categorized as an alien invasive. And the thing is with alien invasives, right, is that they cause problems for the native plants. So the native plants can't grow properly. And last I checked, like usually native plants have better like carbon sequestration like properties usually. I remember there was a talk that we once, so like I attended, that had something to do with, I think it was like the Sahara, not Sahara, but one of these Saharan parts, and how there was a native plant that was so good at at at, at at carbon sequestration, and obviously the presence of bug would be an issue there. But yeah, I get your point. It is a tree, and it does what you call this also contribute to giving us clean air. So yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I hope I responded properly to your question. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Zandile, you can come with your question, suggestion.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and hi, Navisa.
Hi,
Am I audible?
Yes, girl, I can hear you.
Can I be your career friend, please?
I can't hear you. I can't hear that part. Sorry.
Can I be your career friend?
You're my career friend.
Yeah.
Okay, sharp. Like definitely we can do that.
Okay, thank you. I also have another question. How did you get to be an EAT? Like, where did you get your experience? And also, is there something that you are doing to help other women, Black women specifically, to also be like in environmental consultancy?
I applied. I mean, I saw the post and I applied. Generally, like I've been doing a lot of work since undergrad. Like guys, like I said, Uti, we come from certain backgrounds. So I've been working since like from first year I've been working, but doing different things here and there. So it was just one of those opportunities. I saw a post and I applied. And thankfully, actually, the director of the company also, she was very inspired by, because she's also female. So she was inspired by the whole thing. She was like, she's technically like my mentor at the moment. She's mentoring me. And yes, I have actually opened my own company. I mean, it's not currently active, but I have opened my own company as well, where after I feel like I'm comfortable in this space and I've learned enough, I will also branch off and hopefully take in other environmental students also who seek to get into the consulting in like industry, and I can assist them in any way possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. And then there's a question from Samantha. She says, love your presentation, Ravisa. I have a question. What drives you to pursue your dreams? What do you do when you feel demotivated? And what exactly do you want to achieve? For example, what are your wildest dreams?
Oh well, like what drives me, to be honest, like I don't know, like yeah, like I said, like I think my passion, like I said, when it comes to anything to do with women, like I'm there. Like I like conversations. I like talking to people in groups. I think something of the sort, like, I don't know, it just comes natural to me. So if I'm doing something like that, something that I love or something that involves water, because also I've recently just, okay, I love water, I've always loved water, but I didn't know that I loved working with it until I got a chance to do so. So, like, when I'm not motivated, like, I really don't know. Like, I try to do something else. Like, I distract myself with something else that I love. That's because the thing is also, I love a lot of things. So, when, for example, one part of my life is going south, I focus on the other. For example, like I said, body positivity. I've recently joined the gym. I'm trying to exercise, trying to get that hourglass shape. Yeah, I want to be that girl because I have, body goals type of situation. But in terms of my wildest dreams, I mean, I think I really, really would love my company to succeed and become successful so that I can, like I said, obviously, be like a force to be reckoned with in the environmental consulting industry. And also just this so that I can also empower other women and we can just like, take this world by force. Yeah. And yeah, guys. Thank you, Sam, for the question.
All right, thank you so much. And all right, from my side, I also have a question. But before I start with my question, Fabiano, I see your hand is up. I don't know if you still have another question or comment.
Yes, I'm Fabian. Nwabisa.
Hey.
Wooliget, wooliget, wooliget. Hey, wooliget. Hey, I think you know Dr. Fon. You know, everybody might know Fon by now. I'm so in the sky. I don't know. The sky is the limit, okay? Go on. I'm so blessed to see you talk like this. I can't fault you. It was like if I was to be some gaga, I would be like, let's give this girl a woo.
Thank you.
I really enjoy everything. I don't think I would work with questions that needs technical response, but no, I think you are up there. You found your feet. You found a place where you love it. I don't know what to say, but I'm proud. And I would just ask you one key question only, which is a technical one. Like, if I were to ask you to look at the ladies that are down there, not only the ladies, the black guys as well from disadvantaged background, how did you hang on to this when it was a difficult?
Juan, I think we lost you there. But I think I got the gist of your question. Uguti, how did I think
How did
I
you hang on? Yes.
how did I
Can you advise them to be able to keep on?
And the funny part is that it actually involves this organization so much. I remember actually I was in my third year when I joined Access, and I was having a conversation in one of the workshops. We would have so many thought-provoking conversations, and one of the questions that it was just very random. I just posed to Dr. Carl, and I was like, you know what, Dr. Carl, actually, I've always, especially being here, I've been inspired to be in academia. I love to study and I'm good at it, but I have never saw that for myself because I've always been told, after I get my degree, I have to work because I have to do things back home. And what he said to me straight up changed my life. He said, you know what? You can go and work. It's fine. And, obviously, regardless of whatever decision that you take, but someone needs to change the cycle. I think that's what he said to me. But like, those words just stuck in my mind that someone needs to change the cycle. And I just decided from that day onwards, but you know what? I'm going to do this. Like it was really not easy. And yes, they're saying also like just look for opportunities. Honestly, opportunities are out there, guys. They really are. And you can apply. I mean, it's not easy. No, you're not gonna get the funding all the time, but just apply. And like I was always so open with my supervisors. I always made them know, like I always let them know, like when I was going through things. Well, I was lucky enough that I had a supervisor who I could tell him when I'm going through things. So now he would try to assist me with funding here and there. So if things got really heavy on me, like the school would assist. Like I was in like funding offices like nobody's business, like I said. Like and like I said, also like if your mental health, like if you've got a problem, try to find a solution. If your mental health is you're struggling, go find a counselor. Don't just like I don't know. I think that's just how I pushed. I had to break the cycle. I decided that I would.
But counseling is not a black thing. How did you manage to feel comfortable with that?
Oh, like I went there. I remember for my first session, I went there, and all I did in that session was cry. I cried, but after that session, I felt better. And from that day onwards, I preach like counseling like nobody's business. Like everyone in my life, I'm like, guys, go to counseling. Like the moment, even when you don't feel okay, like regardless, now I book you. Even now they know me because I'm still booking counseling sessions. Even now, I don't play shame, guys. Like we can't be thinking black, white. What it's about mental health. Your mental health is important because when you're not okay mentally, like you can't function. You really can't do anything. Like getting out of bed is the hardest thing.
Did you at some point feel that, guys, I really have to make this for my black sisters? I can't give up. I need to make this and get a breakthrough.
Definitely, like I said, with the imposter syndrome, I would look up and I would never see anyone like me, but I wanted to be there so that one day when someone looks up, they can at least see me, and hopefully that would help them somewhere, somehow.
Thank you, dear. That's it from me. Just go ahead. Just go ahead. The sky is the limit.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for your questions, your encouraging words towards Nwabisa. We are done with the first speaker. So, Nwabisa, can you kindly please put down your presentation? And now we are about to get ready for our second speaker, Miss Yolisa.
Hi, everyone. I'm not sure what's happening. Let me just. Share.
Is Ndomfuti online? Ndomfuti?
Okay, I tested everything before I started this.
All right. I think while you are putting up your slides, Kolisa, I'm just going to give a brief introduction again for those who missed it earlier. So Ms. Kolisa Yolas Nyanya holds a master's in botany from University of Cape Town and is currently a PhD candidate in oceanography. Her PhD research involves performing introstate biogeochemical analysis of nitrogen isotopes to assess the productivity and change over time of microbial communities and the microbe-nutrient interactions within the Indian and Southern Oceans. She also runs the Women in Science Hub, a blog that shares stories from interviews with women who are performing groundbreaking research in science. She recently was part of a CNN Inside Africa documentary that covered the amazing work she and other South African female scientists are doing in their fields, which have historically been male dominant. Miss Kolisayola, the floor is yours, and thank you so much for your time.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not sure what's happening with my computer. It's sharing everything else but what I want to share. I have no idea what's happening. Is it possible to send this to someone?
Yes, definitely. I think Cherise or Nokolo, could you guys please type your email addresses in the chat box? I'm sorry about that. Computers just have their own thing of disappointing us at times. Okay, Yola. So on the chat box, you'll find the email address for Nokolo Mtetelwa. You can send. Yes. Please just check there, then you can forward your slides to her.
Okay. Can we do something else in the meantime?
Yes, definitely. You're most welcome. And just a reminder to everyone, there is still a general discussion whereby everyone will still have an opportunity to ask questions, you make your comments or suggestions to both our speakers. So stay tuned. Nokolo, are you winning with the slides?
I have not received the email as yet.
Okay.
We should have done before.
What was that, Nokolo?
Pardon?
There's something that you said, but I didn't catch you.
It wasn't me. I said I have not received the meeting yet.
It was me. I was saying maybe we should have checked before we started.
Okay.
I can just go without the slides.
Yeah, I think you can go on, and then I'll just catch up with you
as well. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Kolisa Snyaya, and I am a PhD candidate. I'm currently working on my PhD, which is part of understanding how the ocean works. And I focus on the biogeochemical cycling of the ocean. And basically, my work involves phytoplankton and their role in biogeochemical cycling. And to do this, I use nitrogen isotopes. And with nitrogen isotopes, we try to understand using N14 and N15 how the stable isotopes, which are abundant in the environment, take up these different types of nutrients. And so there are different phytoplankton, different sizes, and they live in different environments. And so the different types of phytoplankton take up different types of nitrogen and how that works. So I'll just go back to who I am and where I come from. I had prepared slides for this. So I was born in Tata in the Eastern Cape, South Africa, and I went to school there. I did my high school up to grade 12, of course, and then I went to Walter Sisulu University, double majoring in botany and zoology, a biological sciences degree. And when I completed my biological sciences degree, I decided to continue and do my honors. And in my honors year, I decided to work on a biotechnology-based project which focused on microbial immunities, basically trying to study and understand how microbes interact with microbes to create ethanol, which was bioethanol used in biofuels. And I was fascinated by microbes so much that I decided that whatever I do in the future, I would want to work with these microbes. And so before I completed my honors degree, I was headhunted by the National Research Foundation at Walter Sisulu University, the research office there. And I worked with them for a couple of months, but soon decided that, no, man, this was not for me. I did not want this type of work because it did not excite me at all. So I applied to the University of Cape Town to study a master's. And I applied for a master's in chemical engineering and a master's in botany. And I went to both master's degrees. And upon being accepted, I decided I would go for the master's in botany because I had funding for that. And I went ahead and did that one. And for that, I was studying microbes again, but then in a different environment, microbes in the fynbos biome, trying on how they interact with the fynbos plants. And I was in love with DNA microbes. I was fascinated by microbes, so important and so diverse. And so I decided to continue and do this work in the ocean. And that's when I ended up in ocean science. And so in ocean science, I'm currently working on what I have told you. And this degree in oceanography, where I specialize in marine biochemistry, I have gotten so many opportunities, but the one thing that blows me in is public speaking about science, not just ocean science, but particularly the work that I do because I work in the Indian. And so with this work, I have had opportunities to organisms. I think my internet is terrible because the slides are not going anywhere, but I hope I'm telling a great story here. So I go around the world talking about these phytoplankton, which are microscopic organisms that we cannot see with the naked eye, but without these organisms, the ocean takes up the most carbon from the atmosphere, compared to all the forests in the world combined. And the ocean base that takes up the most carbon is the coldest, which is the Southern Ocean. So my work, part of it, and tries to understand how the Southern Ocean works in conjunction with the Indian Ocean, how they work together. But the focus is the Indian Ocean. I just sent it. The focus is the Indian Ocean, and we have made a number of discoveries, and I hope the slides will come up soon for me to show you what we have discovered in the Indian Ocean with the work that I do currently. So the work that I do currently is me trying to see what types of phytoplankton species are in these waters. Because like I talked about the Southern Ocean waters are cold, but the Indian Ocean waters are warmer, as some of you might know, and they don't have much nutrients, because as soon as the nutrients get there, then the phytoplankton take them up. So the work that I'm doing now is trying to understand that who is taking these nutrients in terms of phytoplankton, how are they taking these nutrients, the processes that are happening, and why it's happening the way it's happening. And this is all linked to global warming, as we all know, because right now there's global warming, which leads to global climate change, and us understanding how the ocean is working and how the ocean is changing within the warming waters can tell us a lot about what to expect in the future. Additionally, my work includes mathematically understanding, so that basically calculating how these processes happen. And like I said in the beginning, the focus is nitrogen. So the nitrogen that they take up is the nutrient that is most important for all the processes to take place. For example, for the carbon to be taken up efficiently by these waters, the nitrogen cycle has to be working efficiently. So I calculate how this happens per hour, per day, per year, because this tells us of how much export is happening in terms of carbon dissolving on the surface waters, being taken up by these phytoplankton. And when these phytoplankton die, their bodies or particles are compressed into the deep waters, and they are stay there for years, for thousands to millions of years, until they turn into fossil fuels sometimes. So as a Black woman in science, I would say there are a few challenges, but I first would like to talk about the positives of being a woman in science. For me, being a woman in science has created so many opportunities, and I saw that in my bio. One of the things that was pointed out is that I was part of CNN, and CNN is just one of the productions that I'm part of, talking about the work that I do and trying to show the world that even us women, us Black women, who are very less represented in the science field, in the ocean science field, can do this. We are there, we are doing this, we are doing it brilliantly. And for me, coming from a small town in the Eastern Cape, Mthatha, this is something huge for me, because now I'm an international scientist who is showing children from back where I come from, and from the rural areas, from every corner in the globe, that it's possible. So that's one of the positives of being a woman in science for me. Additionally, the fact that I'm part of the curriculum in America. In some schools in California, I'm part of the curriculum. They study me. They study that there's a Black woman in science in South Africa who is a science communicator, talks about what I don't know exactly what they talk about when they talk about me, but I'm sure it's something positive. If you'd like to know about this, I've seen it on Amazon. So they have it on Amazon. You can purchase the thing, part of that curriculum. Additionally, I have been part of a number of organizations that are ocean science women based. And one of those is my very fellowship at the University of Cape Town, which is known as Ocean Women. So it's part of the Advancing Women initiative, which was brought about by she's not so new anymore, but we say the new Vice Chancellor, Professor Mamokgeti Phakeng. So I'm one of the women, the 5 women who were part of the first cohort at the University of Cape Town in the oceanography department. And I can say I'm very proud to be one of those women because through doing that work, I have become a mentor. I have become someone who is put out there as the face of what a Black woman in science can become. One of the faces, not the main face, obviously, guys, but it's a great achievement and it can be done by anybody else. If I can do it, anyone else can do it. And then there are negatives, the fact that it's not easy being in science because generally science is challenging. I mean, as a woman in science, there'll be people who tell you that you are emotional, women are this, women are that, they're stereotypes. And then on top of all that, you are a Black woman. And then on top of being a woman, you'll be stereotyped as a Black person. So additionally to all those struggles, there is those 2 struggles, and then there are struggles associated with that. And the backgrounds that we come from as Black people have to be, you can't neglect them. Like it's impossible to neglect who we are, where we come from, and how our lives, okay, there are the slides, hello, and how our lives are impacted by the culture of science, because the culture of science is not inclusive. We need to be very honest about that. It's not inclusive, especially for women, especially for us Black women. So for me, you can go to the last slide, please. Oh, also I'm Nitro. So Nitro is the previous slide. Sorry, guys. Previous slide. I think it's slide 4.
Kolisa, what does slide 4 have as a heading so that
it
I can
has
just
claim
go?
to be a woman in science, but I'll just incorporate it with the challenges and the positives of being a woman in science. So I'm also Nitro, and Nitro is this science superhero who is a phytoplankton fanatic, and she basically was chosen to inspire young kids, young Black kids especially, kids of color, to show them that, hey, there are Black scientists out there, because the creator of Super Scientists went to schools around the country. He's American and went to schools around the country, and he kept asking people, kids, who is your favorite scientist? And they did not know any scientists. So he thought he should start this initiative. Sorry for my bad English. He started this initiative, and he basically chose me to be Nitro to represent the water people. So back to the positives and negatives of being a woman in science. Another negative for me was that I realized that when I go to sea, you can go to being a woman in ocean science slide. So I realized that when I go to sea, the clothes are very masculine. I mean, being an oceanographer, you go to the ocean a lot, and going to the ocean requires you to wear all the field wear, and the field wear is too masculine. I was like, what? I have to wear the stuff? So I decided to wear my tights at sea with the because it's very cold. We go to the Southern Ocean, very cold down under, down south, and basically you have to wear the clothes that you are given. And I was the rebellious one. I'm kind of rebellious. That's kind of me. I think Carl knows that. But I decided that I would wear the clothes that made me comfortable, because I'm there to do research, and I need to be comfortable when I'm doing the research, when I'm sampling for my PhD, doing the work. So I think that's something that needs to be looked at. And now that there are more women in ocean science, I think that will alter a bit. Additionally, I do like that as a woman, especially as a Black woman, I bring a new perspective to ocean science, to science in general, because predominantly, historically, science and ocean science have been a male-dominated field, especially white male-dominated field. And now we have diversity, we have a voice, we have, I could say, positions to make changes and decisions now. And so that is very valuable. And I think it's not just I'm not sure what's happening. You muted me, so my time is up, right? Sorry, is my time up?
No, Kolisa, you can continue. Sorry about that.
Okay,
It was a technical error.
Okay, let's go to the last slide. So finally, one of the reasons why I decided to go into science, of course, this is not the main reason, but it's one of the reasons. And you will hear me saying this even on my CNN interview. It's the fact that I did not see any Black people, no women, Black women in science. When I watched TV when I was growing up, I was like, what? Everyone who's wearing a lab coat, who's a scientist, or who's like a tech person is always a white person, especially a man. So why? I wanted to know why. And I decided that I wanted to be one of the first. Of course, back then, I didn't know that there were Black scientists. They just were not out there. And when I say out there, for example, if you look at us now, we are out there. There's social media, there's the internet, there's there is the media, like TV, radio. I do all of that. And now scientists are more visible. So Black scientists are more visible, women scientists are more vocal, more visible. And so we are role models. And that's what I did not see while I was growing up. And today I'm very proud to see so many of us, young and old. And so when I was asked to write a blog post for our fellowship, Ocean Women, the one I spoke about, I decided to write about being Black and having the Black experience and how I was treated as a Black person in this field when I arrived. And of course, the people who were treating me like that didn't know how influential I am, didn't know how powerful I am, didn't know how loud my voice is. And back then, they were just as people who will bully someone. They tried to do that with me. And so that's the story I was telling. You can go look it up if you'd like to hear the story or read about the story. But they quoted me saying this in the blog post, that Black women in science, we are the magic we think we are. We can get to the levels we aspire together through determination and working smart. And I mean, I said that because it's the truth, because it's what it is. And I believed it because I do it. And I do it with the other Black women that are in science, not necessarily in my field, but Black women in science generally. So these are the words that I'd like to leave you with. And this doesn't just go to Black women. At the beginning of this seminar, there's someone who asked a question and he said, this is a woman's something. I don't remember how he said it exactly, but I said, I was sitting here and I responded and said, it applies to you too. It applies to all of us. It's Women's Month. This is Access HPW's Women's Day, but what is said here applies to all of us, because most of what we experience as women, men will experience as well. Children will experience growing up, coming up into science, even other fields. But I love research, and thank you for inviting me. Oh, and also I didn't say that I was also part of Access. Can you please go to slide 3? This is my last one, sorry guys. Slide 3. The Applied Center for Climate and Earth System Science. The one after this one. It's not there. Oh dear. Okay. Oh, sorry. That's okay. Anyway, so I also was part of Access, and I joined Access in 2011, and there's a Facebook post that I put up, but then I guess I gave you another set of slides. But the Facebook post says the CPU HPW rocks. So that was my first HPW, where I was a student, and I was so fascinated by everything and everyone. I made friends, I made networks that I still have today, those networks. And then the following year, I was asked by Carl to organize the next HPW, which was happening in the Eastern Cape. Me and Alex Lanferna, and we started from, we took a road trip from Cape Town, went to Rhodes University, we hosted there, and then we drove down to Mthatha to Worcester University. And then from there, we went to Coffee Bay. It was epic. Is my timer?
No. You still have a minute to go. Okay.
So Access has taught me so much, because at some point I was a student teacher at Access. It taught me how to present. They taught me how to organize. I mean, like basic things like organizing a workshop, which I used in other conferences, because I've now even organized international conferences elsewhere. And I always say I'll always be grateful to Access, because Access has taught me a lot, and you guys are going to be taught so much if you haven't already by Access. And what they teach you, you always carry with you, you remember throughout your career. They also, I would say, did facilitate my thinking towards doing a postgraduate degree. I was already a postgraduate when I started with them, but they made me think further about becoming someone bigger in life, you know, because I got introduced to people from other universities globally. And I was like, I mean, I can do that too, right? Yeah. And then I went ahead and did it. So good luck, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Oh.
It's okay, you can go.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Kolisa, for your wonderful and inspiring presentation. Right now, we are going to have the opportunity to have a general discussion, which means everyone is welcome to give their questions to both Kolisa and Nwabisa. And I'd like to open the first question to Kolisa. So as you had said earlier that you have now been part of the curriculum internationally and locally you are in ITRO. So my question is that how do you think we can start to change the narrative surrounding the African contribution towards science, research, and careers?
Thank you. You asked the question. Ndogos?
Yes, Ndogos.
Thank you, Ndogozo. That's a brilliant question. So one of the things that are very key in science is communicating your science. So talking about your science for me is paramount, whether you talk about it in the form of writing papers, or in the form of talking to magazines, in the form of a YouTube channel, in any form. Just talk about the work that you do, publicize your research. And most of the time it's not about you, but about the work that you're doing. And so some people will want to, because we know that there are scientists that are known worldwide, right? And people will want to be that type of scientist immediately. And it starts just like with business, you have to start somewhere. Even within science, it starts very small, where you have to put your work out there first in any way that you can put it out there. And of course, I would really promote that we contribute in journal paper writing, our work, because we contribute in the bigger picture of science. Whatever research we are doing, in whatever field that we are in, try to put it out there by writing papers. But don't stop there, because the world has changed. The world is changing, and people don't just read articles in journal papers. In fact, only a small percentage of the population will read those. However, if you simplify your work, and that's where science communication comes in, if you simplify the work that you're doing for everyone to understand, then you are doing mercy for not just yourself, not just your research, but also for African scientists and Africa at large.
Oh, thank you so much for the answer. And Nwabisa, I see your hand is up.
Yes. Thank you so much, Khaleesa, for the presentation. It was very inspired. Like, I'm very, very inspired. I can't help notice the beads around your neck and in your, and I'm thinking, which is it what I'm thinking? And if it is what I'm thinking, I just wanted to ask your journey in terms of balancing your spirituality and your science, and like how did you manage? Yeah.
Thank you for that question, Navisa. Actually, you know, when the slides were not coming up, because I mean, I use Zoom, I give presentations all the time, but today, for some reason, it wasn't working. So when that happened, I was like, okay, maybe this is, I'm supposed to just speak. Maybe because that's how Amadlozi work. So I have an ancestral calling. I'm a water spirit, and the beads represent my ancestral calling, Ndao. So how I balance the two, for me, I didn't have to go to Gobela's house and stay there. If you guys know about that stuff, I don't have to go stay there, because that's what my ancestors instructed. They wanted me to focus on the PhD, but not forget about my calling at the same time. So I do both. I balance, I don't know how I balance them. I always get asked this question. Even before I wore my beads, I'd always get asked, how do you do everything that you do and still do your PhD? You know, I don't know, I just do it. I guess I'm supposed to do it the way I'm doing it. I don't know.
Oh, I'm very inspired regardless. Like, I'm very inspired. Like, a friend of mine was going through a similar thing. You know, I guess our was were not having it in terms, because she really, really struggled academically because of the spiritual calling. So I'm so happy to see someone like you are managing, you are there, like, hey, like a PhD is no joke, fam, you know, and you're doing it so proudly. And like, yeah, no, I'm inspired. Thank you so much.
Sometimes we choose paths that don't go along with our callings. And so when you do that, that's when things don't work out. So one of the first things I discovered for myself was that the path that I have taken, ocean, is not a mistake. And now when I go to sea, I see it when I go to the ocean. Good luck, Samantha, with your publication.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Nwabisa, for that question. And I'd like to note Nokolo.
Okay. I'm here.
All right. Sure.
Okay. So hi again. I am so inspired. I'm just sitting here going, oh my gosh, Apella Botanic. Oh my gosh. Well, firstly, thank you for your talk. I don't think there's anyone, not even my supervisor has inspired me so much into focusing on my studies. When you were talking, I got to remember what we were celebrating. It's either the past week or that at the week whereby it was National Women in Botany Week. And it's like, okay, I don't understand this concept, but it's cool, it's amazing. But just hearing you talk and how passionate you are about everything that you are doing, and you're one of those people that say the sky is the limit, but for you it's like the universe is the limit. But then I wanted to ask, do you have mentees that you are mentoring? If not, can I please be your first mentee?
Who asked that question? I can't see who asked the question.
Her name is Nokolo.
Okay, hi Nokolo. Thank you so much for your kind words. I do have mentees. Actually, one of my mentees is a UCT honors student. And when we had our first meeting last year, was it last year or sometime this year at the beginning of the year, she wanted some advice on what she'll do in her master's. And when we first spoke, is there a box of tissues? Oh dear. When we first spoke, she cried. And I had to like keep my tears hidden because I was crying too, because this kid is crying because she has never seen a Black woman in science, in her faculty, in her department at UCT, who thought she was so great, you know, because I kept telling her that even you being at UCT is something you need to celebrate every day because it's huge. Not just anyone gets into UCT, number one. Number two, the fact that you are so passionate about your future while you're still doing your degree and you're about to do your honors says a lot about you, and your future is bright. And so I will give you my contacts, and my contacts will love you. So this kid just started crying, and for me, it was reassuring that I'm doing something right, because I mean, I can tell when the tears are because I'm hurting the person. And this kid was happy. This kid was feeling, I could say, inspired, not necessarily by me, but by what I'm telling her about herself, you know. Another one of my mentees just submitted her master. She graduated actually in June. Was it June or last month? The last UCT graduation. She graduated with her master's. So yes, I do have mentees. And if I would take you as my mentee, I can't say no to people wanting me to be their mentors, to be their mentor. To be a mentor. I can't say no because I've noticed that mentoring is different for each person. So some people will come and ask for a lot from you, and by a lot, it could be a lot for me because I have a lot on my plate with my PhD and everything else that I'm doing, because I do a lot. And some mentees will come to you with a question, and maybe you just speak on the phone for an hour or 30 minutes or even 15 minutes. So I'll say yes, but then we'll have to talk about how that will work. Not all.
Yeah, no, indeed, that was beautiful. Hopefully, Kolisa, you might just want to consider having your own mentee-mentor program, whereby at least people will be able to apply and put in their motivation as to why they don't want to be a mentee. So I'd like to take Zinzi. I see your hand is raised up, but before I take you, there's a message from the chat box from Sashan M. And the message is that my connection is bugging, so I may not sound clear. I wanted to ask Kolisa her opinion on storytelling as a form of science communication as well. Really inspiring talks from both Kolisa and Nwabisa.
Thank you for that question, Sashan. So if you noticed, today I had to do exactly that, storytelling, because my slides are not working. And sometimes that will happen. There'll be technical problems and your slides won't work and you have to tell a story. And that's exactly what I did today. And I hope I painted a nice picture of my research, besides everything else I spoke about, a nice picture of the science itself. So storytelling is what I love to do. So science communication is, in essence, storytelling. So you tell a story about the science that you're doing. I was a runner-up on FameLab, and FameLab is the biggest science communication competition in the world. And basically you tell a story about the work that you're doing in 3 minutes. And you can't look at slides, you just tell the story. So I became a runner-up there. I felt like I should have won. But then the person who won was talking about a very relevant topic, and that was drought in the Western Cape at the time. So right now, I would love to write a book on kids. And so that's a form of storytelling. I'm part of a documentary on global warming, with a documentary based in the UK. And that's also storytelling. The insert that you saw on CNN is storytelling as well. And you can also, I mentioned YouTube earlier, you can also have your YouTube channel where you just tell stories about science. You choose a topic and you go and talk about it, because as scientists, we have more background and so more understanding of these topics. And so we can just go look up your favorite topic in science, for example, and go talk about it on YouTube. That's science communication, that's storytelling, and it's you educating at the same time, because science communication is education. When you talk about science and they say dumb it down, I choose to say make it be understood by everybody, make it transform it into a format that is understood by even a 5-year-old, but not losing the science. That's a form of science communication, which is all storytelling and education at the same time. So yes, storytelling is a form of science, a form of science communication.
Oh, thank you so much for that clarity and explanation. And Zinzi, can you please come in with your question?
Thank you. Hi guys, evening everyone. Hi
Hi,
Yoli.
Zinzi. Is this
Yes,
I know that voice.
That is the Zinzi, you know. Listen, I'm so proud of you. I am like 120% proud of you. I mean, you are representing not only the hometown, but the entire female species. You know,
Thank you.
I've seen you grown from your degree to your honors to, you know, all the postgrad degrees. And yeah, I am inspired myself. And I am going to be starting my PhD very soon. So I shall consult you very soon. And also, please, Manias, come back and plow back at home, you know. We've got a couple of projects that we're doing. We've got a couple of projects that we're doing, you know, as women in science and all that. But now we need all those who have, because I can confidently say that you've made it in science. So we need one of those that have made it to come back and actually encourage and you know, plow that seed that says that women in science can actually be successful as well. So I'm looking forward to you coming back home and telling all the other young women back at Walter Sisulu University that science is the way to go. It's actually the key, because literally everything you do is just science related. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm very proud of you, babe. Big ups.
Thank you. It's quite interesting you say that, Zinzi, because Mr. Bango was here for an access thing last year, and we met up. I had not seen him in a couple of years, and we met up and had lunch. And while we're having lunch, he says to me, "We saw your Daily Dispatch article. Tara Boffin puts ocean under scrutiny."
Oh yeah, I remember
and he
that.
says to me, we still have the paper in the department, and we actually wanted to ask you a question. What would you say if we'd give you an offer? And I'm like, Mr. Bango, I can't go back to that shanty town. Well, let me not say that about my hometown.
Listen
But
to you.
I mean, coming back would take a lot. You guys would have to pay me very well.
Of course, you qualified for it. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colleen. All right.
Thank you so much, Zinzi, for that. And there's a question from YouTube. So Precious Mahlalela, she says, Kolisa, did you ever doubt your abilities as a scientist? Impostor syndrome. If yes, how did you handle these situations or feelings?
Wow. Hi, Precious. Precious is my colleague in the department. I doubt myself all the time. I mean, even for this, I was doubting myself. And when the slides don't want to work, I was like, oh Lord, what now? But then the instinct of being a speaker kicked in, and you always have to be ready for that. So the imposter syndrome part, I have it a lot. I remember when I started writing my first manuscript, I went to my supervisor and I told her that I don't think I can do this. And my supervisor said, how do you think you've made it to where you are today? How do you think you do all the stuff you do if you can't write a manuscript? I mean, writing a manuscript, you've written a master's thesis. So what's going to stop you now from writing this manuscript? And I was like, I don't think I can start. I don't know how to start. And she laughed at me, and basically the meeting was over because I said this at the end of the meeting when I was leaving. So I left, and when I thought about what she told me, that, come on, you can do this, I was like, okay, maybe I can do this, but how do I start? And then I went ahead and started. So in the middle of writing the introduction for the first manuscript, I was like, okay, maybe I can do this, but am I going to be able to do the next one? Because this study is different from the next study. The first study was the one about understanding what types of phytoplankton are taking which types of nitrogen. And the second study now is about mathematics and physics of the ocean. I was like, what? Me? I don't think I can. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm writing up my discussion on that part of the PhD, and I have done it. So how I overcome the doubting myself, the imposter syndrome, to be honest with you, I don't know how I do it. But the one thing that I know comes from somebody else is that I need encouragement from my supervisor. So having a supervisor who believes in me has helped me a lot in this PhD journey. In fact, I think in research in general, having someone who believes in you as a postgraduate, I don't know how it's going to be postgraduate, like after postgraduate, because I'll be a standalone, I'll be an independent researcher. Right now, we say at PhD, you are independent, but not that independent, because you still need your supervisor to help you out with some of the research aspects, your findings and how to structure things, so having her, and her name is Dr. Sarah Fawcett. Some of you know her. She's amazing. And she is basically she's my strength, I could say. She's my my anchor. She's the one who shows me that, Kolisa, don't do that. Don't do that doubting yourself thing. You can do this. You've been doing this. Just look behind and check what you have been doing and see how little you have left. Of course, it's not little, but in terms of percentages, it's little. So that's how my life works. I have the imposter syndrome, but I get strength from my supervisor right now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future because she won't always be there.
Yeah, no, that's true. I feel that having a good relationship with your supervisor definitely makes the whole journey of being a postgraduate a bit easier. I have a question for both you, Kolisa, and Nwabisa. I'd just like to get different perspectives from you guys. So how do you guys think that your upbringing or your background has been beneficial in both your journeys in science and your careers in science? Okay, I think we can start with...
Okay, let me start. My background, how has it? That's a tough question. But I grew up in a household where you were motivated to go for what you want. My parents were the type of people who were like, if you think you can do it, then you can do it. Go ahead and do it then. Show us, do it. So I always, as a child, grew up wanting to be a scientist. In all my interviews, if you listen to my interviews, I always say this. I do not remember a time when I didn't want to be a scientist. And it was really nice to be surrounded by parents who, if you want to be a cop, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a teacher, whatever you wanted to be, they would support that. They would be like, okay, go ahead and do it. And so the encouragement for me made me believe in not just myself, but the fact that the surroundings will allow it for me to happen, whatever it is that I want to happen. And there's another aspect for me, the ancestral part of it. So back then, I didn't even consider it. But now when I think about it, and a lot of people don't believe in it. And I mean, we are different. And so we have our different beliefs. But for me, this is one of the beliefs that today I have realized has been part of my upbringing, the ancestral part of it, that I had that as well, guiding me, taking me through all the obstacles in life, because I have had a lot of obstacles, but because I grew up in a household where my mom is a go-getter. She's a She's the kind of person who is like, it's going to happen, I'll make it happen. If there's a gauntlet here, I will go around it. Uba kuyahlaba pha, will step on the thorns. You know, she's like that. And so I'm like that. People who know me know that about me, that I'm determined. I go for what I want. If I said I'm going to do it, I go ahead and do it. And it's very rare that I don't get where I want to get. So I could say that is because of the upbringing that I got. Nabisa?
Yes, sorry. Nabisa's here.
Oh, all right. Did you get the question? There was a question
No, I
for
didn't.
both. Oh, all right.
No, I did not get the question. Sorry. Please repeat
All
it.
right. Okay, so the question was, how do you think your background or your upbringing has been beneficial in your science journey and your career?
I have a single parent. My mom is a single parent. My dad passed. So I think she's a strong Black female who's always wanted the best for me, and she's very supportive in the decisions that I make. So in that aspect, and she really, really tries. Like, she does the most to ensure which I get what I need, like, you know, finances and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think that's been really, really great to have her and other just females in my life, because I've got like a very big female support system, my grandmother, my aunts, and so on and so forth. So yeah, and I think obviously just the background itself just makes you want to do more. Like, you want to achieve great things so that things can be better. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the different perspectives that you guys have given us. I can tell that both you, Kolisa and Nwabisa, are definitely phenomenal women. You guys have done a lot. You have built your science careers and you guys are doing well. And I'd like to say congratulations on that. And I wish you guys all the best in your journeys. And we have unfortunately run out of time. We just have 4 minutes to basically round up everything. I don't know if maybe Nokolo or Cherise or Dr. Carl wants to say something before we close, but I'd like to say to Nwabisa and Kolisa, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking your time to come and talk to us. We really value the discussions that we've had with you guys. I could tell from the chat box that a lot of people are inspired. And I believe after hearing your talk, we will now take our journeys in science, you know, looking at it in a more positive aspect. And yeah, thank you so much for that. And I'd like to remind everyone about our last webinar, which will be taking place next week. It will be a session on mathematics, statistics, and physics. So it will be on the 26th of August, same time at 6 o'clock. And yeah, that's about it from my side. I don't know, Dr. Carl, do you want to say anything? Or Nwabisa and Kolisa, do you guys have a few words to close off for us before we go? We have 3 minutes for that.
Now I'm just gonna say all the best to everyone and just do the most, guys. Bye.
And I will say that whatever you choose to do in life, make sure you enjoy it, because otherwise it'll just be a job. Thank you.
I'd just like to quickly come in and say thank you very much to the organisers for putting together such a super event. Thank you very much to the speakers. You've given us lots to think about and some really interesting talks, and it's really been super to reconnect and hear from you all. So thanks very much, everyone, on behalf of Access.
All right, guys. I guess that's it. We have come to the end of our webinar. Thank you so much, guys, for taking out your time to join us for the webinar. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.